Hi, everyone. I have read your discussion board posts from last week and have posted comments and feedback to you on the rubric that's in Blackboard. Please take some time and go in and read my feedback and send me any questions or concerns you may have. One of the challenges with discussion boards, especially because so much of your work requires you to write formal papers, is that students struggle with shifting over to the format in a discussion board. A discussion board should be designed to spark discussion, to spark new ideas, to share new ideas. If you approach it as a formal paper and you open up a Word document and you type it along and then you post it as a paper, sometimes that doesn't lend itself to an actual discussion flow. It makes it harder for your peers to read. I don't know that it's wrong to write it as a paper. It just doesn't really lend itself to a discussion board format the way it really should. It also puts you in the position of having the structure of a formal APA paper, which creates a little bit more difficulty in maintaining format when you transfer it over into Blackboard. It also lends itself to you being more wordy than you really should be. Discussion boards should be concise. Answer what you're being asked to answer, and then open yourself up to discussion and new ideas. You have one more discussion board in this course, and my encouragement is when you approach that discussion board that you do so with the thinking that it is not a formal paper, that it actually should be a concise format for sharing ideas. So know that that's really the expectation when I'm looking for in discussion boards. Your classmate Kim Hoover gets the award for most commonly read and discussed by her peers. She did a great job, so well done. It's always interesting when I try to grade things alphabetically and then reverse direction the next time I grade in reverse alphabetical, but because of sometimes if a student lands in the middle of the alphabet, I read other people commenting on that person's work like it did with Kim's, and what great commentary, and I really just wanted to skip ahead and go find out what Kim really did say, but I was patient and I read it in order, but know that it's so great that you all took the time and really thoughtfully responded to one another's posts. I thought that was really well done this week. I think the biblical reference that was most commonly discussed was James 2, verse 1, and that verse talks about the sin of partiality. And it says, "My brothers, show no partiality as you hold the faith of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Lord of glory." And I think that is really an appropriate phrase when we look at treating everyone the same. And I think in our ethical dilemma, that was clearly not the case. There was significant evidence that a relationship that existed between a nurse and a physician was compromising the nurse's performance and her approach to her professionalism. I want you to bear in mind when we talk about ethical dilemmas occur when there's really a question of what's right, what's wrong, how many people are involved, who has accountability. Dilemmas occur when there lacks clarity. So in an approaching solving an ethical dilemma, you should be looking at it not just from the offender side, from the nurse's side, but also from the leadership side. What did the leader fail to do or not do as well that kind of fostered a situation that allowed the behavior to happen? And ultimately, how does this impact patient care? If you were someone that did not look at the ANA Code of Ethics for nurses, I would encourage you to always be aware that they're out there and that they're a great source that guides ethical practice. I think that's all of my highlights from the course. Let's shift for just a moment and talk about next week's work. You have a strategic planning literature review due. Want to make sure that you understand that when you look for scholarly resources, you can start with the nursing journals, but there's also a lot of business journals that talk about strategic planning. It's okay to look outside nursing for guidance on strategic planning. Great organizations do strategic planning, and because we know that healthcare is a business, I think it's okay to look in other genres of literature. But I want you to be pretty stringent in looking for what we would call a scholarly source. You want something that is peer-reviewed. that is not an editorial or an opinion, something that involves a deeper dive of consideration. Doesn't necessarily have to be a quantitative research project, but it should have data that's been gathered from multiple sources. So when you set up your search for your articles, be sure that you're looking for peer-reviewed journals that are appropriate to your topic. I also want to remind you to look at the rubric. The rubric is pretty specific about the expectations and what you're looking for. It is not just important to look at scholarly sources and do an analysis. And remember, when we do an analysis, it's not just summarizing each of the articles, but telling me how they're similar, how they're different, what are the common themes among them. If you approach this as a summary of 3 to 5 articles, you're not really telling me why that matters and what the general main topics are. So my encouragement is to read 3 to 5 articles, synthesize what the general themes are, and then present that synthesis in your paper. Okay? The other thing to know that the rubric does ask you to do is relate it to your practice. I've tried really hard in helping to design these courses that a lot of your work should not just be academic in nature, but should have some relevance. So I want you to be thinking about, okay, I've read 3 to 5 or more articles about strategic planning. How does that matter to me in my current position? If you're not in a formal leadership position, that's okay. Think about how it matters in how you coordinate and plan care for your clients or your patients in the setting that you're in. If you're in a formal leadership position, then you have lots of things that you can hang this on to. But I do want to know the so what factor. Why does strategic planning matter to you? So make sure you've got good resources, that you're using scholarly sources, that you synthesize what those sources are telling me. Please don't give me a book report. And then that you tell me the so what factor. Your rubric guides that process, but I do want to highlight those for you. I'm going to sign off now. I hope you guys are having a great week. I will be flying out to Great Lakes, Illinois on Thursday for my son's graduation from boot camp on Friday. And then hopefully all of my traveling will be done for the summer, or at least the stuff that's so close together. Know that I'll be available by email and text message. If you have any questions or concerns, I will respond, but there may be a slight delay just because of the family commitments I have going on. Thank you all for your well wishes for my daughter's wedding. It was absolutely beautiful. She was stunning. Lots and lots of tears of joy. So I'm so grateful for the well wishes and the prayers. They were felt. I hope it was an outdoor wedding, and I did not pray at all in this process that there not be rain. I just prayed for her peace and her comfort and the joy that she felt, and it rained all day. So her outdoor wedding became an indoor wedding, which was just as lovely. So God definitely provided. So again, thank you so much for your thoughts. Know that I'm here if you have any concerns or questions about the discussion board feedback or concerns about this assignment. Touch base. Y'all have a great week.